And Stephan, super excited to have a chance to chat with you all about our recent experience at KubeCon in Atlanta. I know it was there was a lot going on, and I think each of us had a real different experience and some takeaways. So I'm excited to just have a chance to see what everybody got out of there. So real quick, well, Deanna, you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell us sort of what you thought is the big theme, like what you saw any consistency across booths or overall feelings of KubeCon this year?
Yeah, so I'm Dana. Today I'm the developer advocate at VictoriaMetrics, and for me, actually, was the first ever KubeCon. I didn't set like any expectations, but like obviously, I was super excited to see everyone. I think like the main theme was like definitely AI. Everybody was like talking about AI, how AI can boost your productivity, how you can embed AI into basically all the workflows. So it was a lot of talk about AI. Many companies and many CNCF projects launch their MCP servers. So there were a lot of let's say like workshops, labs focused on how to deliver MCP servers, how to build one. But still, I found that other projects also took a lot more, like a lot more boost. So basically, I saw that platform engineering was very well represented. Many developers wanted to know like how to interact with the developer tools, like for example, Backstage was really on vogue. And there were quite a lot of book signings around platform engineering, and that was cool. Observability was a very hot trend still, with OpenTelemetry as a major push from the community. Yeah, and I think overall I saw like so many people coming together and saying hi. That was one of the best highlights.
Yep. Yeah, it was. I agree with all that. And then maybe we can all chime in real quick on the AI. I noticed that as well. Last KubeCon in Salt Lake, there was a couple of people talking about AI. This time it was plastered like a NASCAR a suit, right? Everybody was AI. And it was interesting. And my thought that it was like a lot of MCP stuff was happening, which is doesn't mean your product is AI. It means it can be accessed by it. So I found that a bit, for me, a little bit disingenuous, where people are like, we're fully AI. And you're like, well, you have an MCP server, you have access to it. But did you guys notice the same thing of like way more AI? And then a question, was there anything you guys saw where people were talking, when I say you guys, sorry, I mean you all, was there anyone who was talking about AI where you went, that's really unique? Like that's actually real cool and innovative?
I was glued to the booth too long to go see most of the AI stuff. I can't agree with the sentiment that there was a whole bunch of people who like rebranded their fairly generic thing as AI gateway or AI storage. And I found that slightly frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't we're also this thing that has a more generic purpose. We also are really good at AI. We are the AI thing now, which I
Yep.
thought was kind of sad because like I had associated with those projects as like a general purpose thing. Like they solved a general problem like storage, or they were really good reverse proxy or whatever. And now they're the AI thing.
I agree, and I think you were biting your tongue a little bit in that too. I sensed a little bit of you holding back on something, but yeah, for sure, I'm in the same way. It's just like, hey, it's like AI is super cool and do it, but yeah, don't make it your whole. It doesn't have to be your whole identity of your product, right? Like if you add a chatbot, your your solution's not AI. Stefan, what do you got a chance to do a little bit of touring around out there? Tell us your thoughts from the feet on the street for AI there.
Yeah, I did. I got to go to most of the booths. The general sentiment I think that you all shared is accurate. There was tons of AI, especially where it had no business being. Like, I don't really understand why we're giving AI agents access to infrastructure directly. I think that's an incredibly bad idea.
What could go wrong? Uh, Come on, man, you Luddite.
Well, as we all know, AI likes to hallucinate, and if it hallucinates that you're under attack, it might just start shutting stuff down on you.
You know, there's a lot of people that enjoy hallucinating as well, so I don't paint that with such a bad brush. So, I,
This continuity is not very good on AI
uh,
for those kind of applications, I would
yeah.
say. One of the things that I also noticed was not only were people putting AI in places that it didn't belong, but there was some interesting projects out there that were utilizing it in a more safe way. So it's like AI with guardrails. So like the AI would help you through your tasks. Like for example, it would look at your PRs for you and kind of give you a nice summary of them, but it wouldn't actually merge the PR itself. And so that makes it so there's still a human in the loop, which I think the current state of AI, I think that's the correct way of handling things. AI is a great helper. It helps the humans do things faster, but it shouldn't be allowed to have free reign of itself.
Oh man, preach. That is spot on, dude. Like, honestly, I look at it the exact same way as I want it to help me with the monotonous things, but I want it to show me what it's doing and help me stack rank what I need to do to optimize some simple things. But yeah, the zero shot do my job prompt is scary. So totally agree. And
that is definitely one improvement I've seen with AI focused products in the last year is auditability. So like before it would just tell you this is what is correct, and it would have like no references to what it showed, or like most LLMs that could access external tools didn't have like a one-click button to show me, all right, what did the tool tell you? Because this kind of seems off. That's something I've noticed that was way better, especially when I was prepping for the MCP talk, was compared to the last time I had tried it in earnest, was the LLM was doing a much better job at citing its sources. And so if I did see something strange or unintuitive, it was really easy to see why it thought that. Whereas before it was just like, I think this crazy thing. And you're just like, but why though?
Well, that's right. And I think too, is as the models get better and more tuned, like when you look at like ChatGPT 5X or Gemini 3 now, there's a lot more reasoning in them, which gives you a little bit more comfortability in the fact that this is not just, I don't know, so I'm going to make stuff up. It wasn't like one of the first VPs of sales I worked for that was like that. Just made stuff up. It was wonderful.
Yeah, one of my favorite use cases for AI is to use it as a search engine, but instead of taking its results, I just take the thing that it's cited as its source, and then I go read that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. The answer engine use case is real. Sorry.
From my side, I didn't had the time to go to a lot of talks, but still I managed to speak with a few booths, so a few like startups, and some of them like actually applied for CNCF. So they definitely want to go down that route, to become a CNCF project. So right now they were like gathering the paperwork and trying to become like officially active. And I found that super interesting because they are actually working on AISRE workflows. That means, incident management, root analysis, which actually gives a lot of help to first line support or SRE. So that was pretty great, and just discussing how they are doing it under the hood. I think that's also a trend because more like startups are focusing on anomaly detection and how these workflows can actually influence and benefit other companies. And that was pretty great to find out as an ex-SRE that they're actually thinking about the poor guys working on call and how to make their lives a lot easier. So they're really focusing how to make this better. And obviously, being open source projects, anybody can contribute and really, push the quality way up.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we could have this could be like the AI teardown show for sure, because I think we could go on this one for forever, right? Because I'm thinking back to what the three of you have just said, hallucinating where it's helpful in support is if you already have playbooks for your support, if you have a good knowledge base, it's a great way to help anybody at the front line get things quicker, right? I mean, I would not want to call in for support and have to talk to a chatbot. But if I'm talking to somebody who's being prepared and armed with the right things in a smart fashion, that's really cool. And I also think there's a lot of conflation or confusion between ML and AI for a lot of people when they're talking about anomaly detection. Well, is that, is ML AI or is this an ML function and algorithm? I think there's some confusion in there that I think is honestly making some of the ML world look a bit more icky because they're getting caught up in the super hype of
It's
Gen AI.
it's because LLMs aren't reliable enough to be called ML yet. I think I said this joke on our anomaly detection stream with Fred, but basically as soon as a feature becomes stable and reliable, it stops being AI and turns into ML. Because like object detection when it was new is called AI, but now it's just called object detection. So as soon as something becomes like not the new hotness, it gets relabeled as ML or something else.
Okay, so AI is the bachelor's and ML is the PhD. Once you've certified as you're the expert, you're ML, right?
Yeah, we need to come up with like a CNCF process or a CNCF style process. As you graduate through the stages, you get relabeled.
See, and now that we've covered a lot of that AI stuff, that mud, was there anything else that really was interesting or stood out to any of you at the show floor, in our booth, or anywhere else, or even outside in the city?
Okay. So the thing that I noticed that was really cool that had absolutely nothing to do with AI was runtime security was a really big thing. So I noticed people were looking at alternatives to running things in like vanilla OCI containers and running them in like micro VMs or something else. And then ensuring container image quality was another consistent thing.
So that's
So
like
lots of like,
Artifactories, like sort of doing what Docker Scout or JFrog kind of did, is manage all your. Do you have any worries in any dependencies in any of these things you're doing, like that sort of making sure the containers are good?
Also changing what images you start with seems to be a big theme right now too. So instead of starting from like a Debian image, which is something that was they started tearing stuff out to make a more lean operating system or lean container image and taking a subtractive approach. There's a lot of interesting things happening now around using an additive approach. So you would use something like Docker has Scratch, Red Hat, I forget the name of it, but Red Hat just launched a minimal image that they're going to start using. And then Ubuntu has one as well. So that way you could start off with a clean base. And if you're using something like VictoriaMetrics written in Go, your Docker file is literally 3 steps. It's just from scratch, add this binary, run the startup command.
Yeah, as long as that goes. My only concern anytime anything is additive is, particularly in our world, there's a million ways to do anything correctly, and or to do anything, and most of them are wrong. When it's additive, the only problem I can see would be the actual inverse, right? Is now that somebody gets a bare bones Scratch image, and then they start adding the things that they think they need. If they didn't know what to take away, will they know what to add? Like, I'm just assuming there'll be another challenge in there somewhere. I think it's a good approach, but I just see it as like it's robbing Peter to pay Paul almost, right? It's now it's not my fault for giving you a bad image. It's your fault for adding to it. Or yeah. I could be wrong. I'm always looking.
I think there is some concern about breaking stuff because I don't know if I could use our Scratch images right now inside of Docker because I rely on curl being present, curl or wget being present inside of the image. So if you start from like the Alpine base images, you have some method of performing like, hey, is this endpoint up? That's built in Kubernetes, but if you're running inside of a different runtime, you might need some more internal tooling to make sure the container is running.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's interesting because I know when I was at Docker, when we were launching Scout, it was really where everybody started talking about security and minimalizing containers and all of that. So yeah, to see it propagating across a lot of different vendors there was pretty cool. Stephan, did you continue on the technical side of this? Was there anything that stood out for you that you went, that's really innovative, that's cool, or what the heck are they doing?
There was one project that I'd like to name that I thought was really interesting. They're called BindPlane, and so what they do is they take the open source OpenTelemetry collector. I'm not sure which version, if they use the mainline or contrib. It's probably contrib, but I'm not 100% on that. And they add a nice UI on top of it. I haven't gotten to play around with it yet, but I saw their demo and it was very impressive. Instead of having to write all the configs from scratch and understanding how the collector works at a very low level, which right now, because it's still in such active development, can be very difficult if you're not plugged into that community. Their UI helps you manage a bunch of them all at the same time. And so you can not only have multiple of them, but you also get visualizations, and you can configure the collector in their UI to scrape what you want to scrape and push it to where you want to push it. And, you know, all the different transformations in between, which is why I think it really gets useful, is it can do all the transformations that OTel can do. And I think that that's a really powerful use case for a UI instead of trying to just do it with YAML files.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting. Kind of one thing when you were saying that came to my mind is sort of, I'm thinking of like product maturity and reach of product. You know, I think we're at an interesting stage all around in the cloud native environment now that, you know, it's sort of like everything's designed for engineers at the back, right? It's like people that don't have there's no X windows running, right? Everything's in terminal all day. Then it gets into the slightly still very technical folks, but now we're seeing that reach where UIs are important because the tools are so baked in and work so well now that it's okay to give additional people access in to leverage the power of the technology. So I think it's a very interesting potential waypoint in the maturity of overall product. So that was cool to hear about. And Deanna, same for you. Was there anything that you walked by and went, oh, yeah, I like that? Or same old for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not same old, same old. Like I said, it was my first KubeCon and a lot of things going on. And I saw like I said, like a lot of startup doing a lot of cool things. For me, like I've been watching this company and this project, Solo.io, for quite a while. They were actually focused on the MCP server. But what's more interesting is that they pushed K agents as a CNCF project that just recently
basis and actually get to see them IRL. Because like nobody looks like, it's strange how you don't expect people to look different from like wherever the camera cuts off down. You're just like, you were taller, you were shorter than I expected you. I didn't expect Roman when I met him for the first time to look like an NBA player.
Yeah, nor did I. Yeah. Oh, exactly. And then to meet our team too, right? Like to have a chance to interface with everybody one-on-one. It really, from a team side of things, it really helps just understand that everybody we're working with is human and different things we like and don't like. Like it's really important. And you're right, meeting customers or people we've spoken to, and that, wow, you do. Yeah, that's you. Like when I hit him in AI.
I'm scared to see you make me look like Bob Ross with AI. I know that's coming.
Don't plant seeds you don't want to harvest, buddy.
I want to do that one IRL. I don't want to make the bots do that one.
Oh, yes. I would. Oh my gosh. Sidebar.
We're gonna find a way.
I want to do a North American event because we won't be able to do this in Europe because they'll say it's too silly. I want to do exactly that, Mathias. Set up a booth space to look like a painting studio. We'll have a Samsung frame TV because it looks like art. And
the joy of anomalies.
Yep. And we'll have a palette. And on the palette on your iPad is just all of your alerts and everything you need. And you just put a happy little monitor over here. I think it would be awesome.
You just get to stand there with it and you can just drag it up onto the TV.
Yeah. And Deanna, this is a North American thing. You're probably like, what the hell are these guys talking about? In the 80s, there was or 80s and 90s, I guess, there was just an amazing sort of hippie pot smoking must have been dude who just did a TV, a PBS, a public show on painting. And he would always just like, he was just so friendly. And you'd think his paintings were crap.
Is this the one with like curly hair?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Happy
so we're
trees.
getting Stephan and Mathias are both going to get perms before the next event. So.
I know, splitting firms, yes.
It's just little tight curls for them.
Like the I want full stack open telemetry observability drinking game we should have played. Like it felt like every other person I went up to the booth wanted full stack open telemetry observability.
Oh, that's it. And that's where I just like to point to Deanna and her award and go, we can do that.
We're working on it.
Yeah, exactly. We're on mission, right? Yeah. cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, so highlights and predictions, everyone. So I know that we walked around and saw, some of us more booths than others. We looked at, changes from previous events. Does anyone have anything they want to call out as a highlight of KubeCon Atlanta, or anything that you think you might be coming down the road, some predictive nature? Deanna, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. For me, it was like as an OpenTelemetry contributor, it was like all about OpenTelemetry. We also kicked it off with the Observability Day right before KubeCon days, and we were like bombarded by questions about OpenTelemetry, some AI, but still OpenTelemetry. And I really liked, the involvement. It definitely has a big push from the community. I managed to speak like with a lot of maintainers, a lot of people that I only corresponded via Slack, and finally put down together some frustrations or solve some issues. And I really think right now it's the project is really moving forward with a focus more on the end user onboarding, which is really, really nice. Trying to help end user pick it up and be more helpful basically for end users. And with that is still, we had like tons of talks about OpenTelemetry. Maybe like, I don't know, 60-70% talks on OpenTelemetry, including the observability track at KubeCon. So it's still definitely, I think, overall kind of like beat Kubernetes in terms of talks. And from my side, I wanted
That's
to.
what I was just going to ask. I was going to say, and you know something about OpenTelemetry, right? Why don't you tell us about that fancy thing on your shelf that you stole my thunder?
Yeah, so it was like really nice because I was standing there with you guys at the booth and somebody messaged me like, "Hey, you won some, I don't know, awards." Like, what? What do you mean? And so basically, they are giving like OpenTelemetry Community Awards. That means like it's based on contributions, a lot of involvement in the community in this year. I got the support from the community. You have to be nominated, but obviously this is based on your actual merit, so you cannot really invent anything. Me and other 5 people, we got this award. Only one was on stage, which was really, really cool. And they built a very nice OpenTelemetry Observatory that was there like the whole time at KubeCon, all the 3-4 days. And we also had the chance to have meetings, specialized meetings for every special interest groups. And basically like all the after parties had like OpenTelemetry people. So I think it's a very, very popular CNCF project at the moment. And definitely we got so many questions at our booth about this, and we're like super happy to show them, hey, we are involved.
Well, for sure. And first off, congratulations on that. That's great to be nominated by the community and your peers. Is that really stands out as a great accomplishment. And I think for us too, it's you out there talking about OpenTelemetry and being somebody who's winning these community awards. It's great to show that we continue to progress and implement what the industry standards are going to be next. So we're ahead of the game. So that's really cool. So thanks for that. That was awesome. Mr. Stephan, what did you find as your highlights, or what are your predictions for what's going to happen next?
Give me just a second. Okay. I have my predictions. That one I got.
Hey, let's shoot that,
highlights.
man. Let's.
So for highlights, I wanted to point out. Hold on. For highlights, I saw one of Diana's calls that she had, one of her interviews, and they had somebody there that needed to use sign language to communicate. And I thought it was really cool that they were coming up with not only, a lot of people tend to come up with signs and sign language, but if you don't get it to be broad enough adopted, then you end up with lots of conflictions in it. People just end up going back down to spelling everything. And I thought it was really cool to see a standards body stand up and say, hey, this is the signs that we're going to use for these different things. And we're actively looking for more signs to be added to that list so that can be more broadly adopted in the community.
That is
Thank-
Sure. Yeah, I didn't find the mute button. Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you, Stephan, for mentioning it. Yeah, actually, it's based on a new CNCF initiative called Merge Forward. They like basically grouped under their umbrella all the underrepresented groups in tech. Some of them already existed, like this one, the deaf and hard of hearing, visually. Blind and visually impaired and other communities, but right now they really expanded. So they included groups like neurodiversity, which didn't exist before. And I had the chance, like a neurodiverse person, to actually join at the right time. I'm a co-lead with another colleague, and we are basically supporting this. And we had panels, we had inclusivity panels at the KubeCon. We discussed this. There was also a talk about agile in brain or agile brain, something like this. That was really nice, explaining to neurodiversity to people and how we can have more support. Basically, the Merge Forward initiative provides the safe space for all these underrepresented groups to come together, speak about it, ally and mentor such people, which is really, really great, because there are so many of us working in tech and we are not really coming forward and explaining what's all this. I've been given a few podcasts, a few interviews, some point discussing about this quite on length. And after the podcast finished, the actual interviewer came and was like, "Oh, I'm also a neurodiverse person. How can I help?" Or I want to discuss about this. So actually, just coming forward and making this public helped a lot of people. They joined, and this is exactly what we need.
That's awesome. No, that's for sure. And I think like in our industry in space, I think honestly from my experience, we have a higher level, a higher proportion of neurodivergent people than a lot of other industries, right? Me included, right? Where it's just like, it's interesting that there's so many neurodivergent, but it is underrepresented and hasn't formally been or previously been communicated a lot. So it's interesting. So yeah, and I always find it's neat that different neurodivergent types even have to learn to communicate with a different type of thinking pattern, right? It's neat. It's cool.
And I'm also neurodivergent too, so it's cool to it's if you talk to me for like more than 5 minutes in person, the ADHD is fairly out there, but
yeah, that's where the best of you comes out, buddy. That's where you're magical. That's what makes you magical.
That's where one of the two highlights I wanted to come in goes to was the Bob Ross anomaly detection demos we were giving. The wireless keyboard I had kind of felt like a paint palette, and we were just putting happy little anomalies on the screen because root cause analysis and anomaly detection is something that comes up a bunch. Yeah. And then open to like full stack observability with open telemetry was basically the most common question we asked. It was like every other person asked about it. I'm not sure if that's because of like sampling bias, like now that we have logs and traces products, people are asking us about it more, or if it was the fact that is just something that is the industry is moving towards in general. Like no matter what database you're using OTel now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah,
whether we like it or not.
Yeah, it is the default, right? If you were to create a stack with it, there's an O in that somewhere, right? Definitely. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I think but all of our, when you look at the way we all are at our booth too, I think all of our quirkiness and fun is what draws people to our booth, because if you look at that time-lapse video, we'll have a link to it in this video. Our booth was busy all the time. And I think it's because we've just got so many different people of different styles and personalities that are all passionate about what we do. And I think that's a really unique thing. And I think that's, evidenced by just our traffic flow and how much people like this company. So, yeah. Stephan still has a prediction. He was just going to put on his little wizard hat and then look in his his crystal ball.
Yeah, I have the crystal ball over there. If I got it out, then it gets all confusing with the camera gets to see other things, and it's
fair play.
Trust me, y'all don't want to look at it through a camera. It doesn't go very well. But anyhow, What the crystal ball is telling me is we're going to see a very large adoption of open telemetry. It's going to continue to mature, and it's going to become the industry standard all around. Just from working with it, I can definitely say that it's far superior to most other protocols out there. And I think with all of the drive behind it, it's going to continue. I saw that.
Matthias. Yeah, the Mathias head shake and nod. All right, we got a hot topic, guys, for the follow-up for the Olliecast After Dark. You can watch these two wrestle it out verbally.
I'm going to be sweet.
I think it's...
Yeah, good call, Deanna.
I think it's
she just wants to do all the banking. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
I think it's going to continue to become very prevalent, and the bugs are going to continue to be ironed out. There's so much industry backing for this, and I think it's only going to improve as more and more things make it native and more applications are aware that OpenTelemetry will scrape it, or that it can send the metrics, logs, or traces like directly. Like I've had interacted with a couple applications that have native OpenTelemetry support, and those are by far the easiest to work with compared to other applications that aren't maybe designed for that, especially with the three traces working in or with the three different types working in concert with each other. You know, there's a lot of times you can get like, oh yeah, we have Prometheus support. Oh yeah, we log in this format or whatever. But when they're expecting everything to be OpenTelemetry by default, then it is very easy to pull all of those together and visualize them in a way that is very easy for people to see.
So question to all three of you, or anyone then, is this reminds me of, a previous database world, but now that we've got a standard that makes it easier to pull in telemetry, it can get into here. I believe that there'll be more telemetry going into everybody's systems, like everything. There's more data. So once it becomes easier interfaced as well, the performance of where that data is going to be sitting is going to become more paramount now, right? Like if everybody's like, oh, it's easy, I can scrape everything and throw it in here. Now that back-end performance on VictoriaMetrics or whatever your solution is more important now, right? Or am I reaching on that, do you think?
I would agree that because ingestion is becoming standardized, that is no longer a point of differentiation. And I love that, by the way. That's like my favorite part of OpenTelemetry, because my last job was helping people migrate off of a legacy system into a new system, and getting a whole bunch of disparate groups to instrument their applications in a less terrible way was an extreme challenge. So I have mixed opinions about metrics in OTel, but overall, I think it's a great step forward for the industry.
Okay. I just worry about it creating a data center junk drawer, right? Like where it's like, I can ingest everything, and then they will inevitably. That's always my fear. But I'm sure people that charge for ingestion are going to love it, right?
So that already happens today.
Oh yeah.
We literally made an API that proves that now. But the database dumpster thing is real, because most people will turn on whatever telemetry tools they're using with the defaults and then not set anything until they get the bill and freak out.
That's it. And they're only querying what they wanted to query anyway. They don't realize how much junk is behind it too, right? So yeah.
Just to cut in. So that's why the community, the OpenTelemetry community, is advising the end users what to do, especially regarding instrumentation, semantic conventions, and the bad telemetry. Because right now there are not really very, very good guides or best practices for the end users. And just like, basically people put random metrics there, like, ingest everything basically. So right now they're looking how to manage this onboarding, right? How to offer this also in a simpler way, but also regarding best practices. And definitely about the ingestion and what to store. We need to be more careful, like also from a sustainability points of view, but also like what are you doing? Like the metric, those like thousands, millions of metrics, really you don't need. So it's all about educating, right? The community, the end users, stay in contact with them, but do it in a nice way, in the sense that You could do it also like in a managed way, like, a company can take care of that for you, but also you can educate yourself what to do properly. And I think these are the major trends in OpenTelemetry at the moment. And yeah, for VictoriaMetrics, I think it's a very, very good opportunity due to the efficiency, right? To the telemetry efficiency, the storage and everything. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I think we could have that as a wrap. Like if we need anything else, we'll put it in. But I think we covered a lot of stuff, and I think we can get some good gems out of this for sure. I mean, what do you guys think if it's like once in a while? We don't have to have a super committed schedule, but yeah, if we have one of these podcasts, so like just we can have a topic or we can just shoot the shit. Yeah, cool, good, because I think it's fun and I think it really highlights who we are as a company too, not just like a product, but there's a lot of really neat thinking going on here. And I think showcasing that's going to benefit us in lots of ways. So cool. Stephan did not give a thumbs up, but I'm assuming his thumb is up.
Sorry, there's other stuff going on. So
Oh,
I'm,
is there? Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, then thank you so much, guys. This is